Bonjour à tous, un nouveau format pour les conférences Chiro. Comme c'est les vacances et que je sais que beaucoup d'entre vous doivent les célébrer ou sont partis, doivent trouver un petit job d'été, les chiros commencent à partir en vacances. Je vais essayer d'interviewer rapidement les chiros très sympas ou très profonds que je croise. Donc, it's with a profound joy that Harry come to visit me this weekend, and it just happened like a surprise. So I asked him if I can interview about knowing about more about this beautiful person, or what his journey as a chiropractor, and so we can enjoy his knowledge and how he's serving the masses in London.
Okay.
Harry, who is Harry?
So I've been a chiropractor for over 17 years. I always wanted to help people, but I thought my journey would take me through the medical profession because that's the way I was brought up, and was brought up on taking pills to fix things and all this sort of stuff. But what I've realized is that chiropractic is not just a profession, it's actually a way of being.
Oh.
It is something that is profound and can actually change not only the lives of our patients but our lives as well. So yeah, it's something that we forget actually, how health and how the body can heal itself. It's got to be given the right food and nutrition and adjustments, of course, regularly, but we forget that it is a self-healing mechanism, and our power is being given to a lot of other external forces. You take this little pill, pain goes away, people think that's healing, but in fact that's not healing, it's just covering things up. So I think that what's important is to realize that healing happens from the inside, that it can happen when everything is in balance and is in alignment, and we can help that. We can be a big part of that as chiropractors.
Good. And just to get deep in this before you continue, and what's a balance like for a chiropractor?
I think balance is different for everyone. I also think that things should be had in moderation. So I'm not saying never have drink or chocolate or sweets. I mean, these things are lovely. Coffee is great, but in moderation.
Yeah.
Health here, mental health, things like meditation. I mean, it's in balance, right?
Okay.
When one of those things or many of those things are not in balance, we get health challenges. Sometimes health whispers to us first, and then it taps us, and then it hits us, and then it might slap us. So which one do you listen to? I think it's best to listen when someone whispers.
Good.
Right?
Yes, you're true.
So so I think that's what
What was your journey as a chiropractor? Because you obviously, what we don't say is you're working in London, but you come from Australia.
Yes.
And so you discovered chiropractic there.
Yes.
And what's your journey? What do you think chiropractic was at the beginning? How do you evolve it now? What was your evolution in chiropractic?
So when I first went to learn about chiropractic, I thought it was the back pain people.
Okay.
In Australia, that's what we're known for. But actually, I realized people started talking to me about it can help a lot of other health challenges. Although it's not a treatment for those things, it may also help with health issues and other issues that we all probably know about. And so that was the first introduction. And then as I went to university, we learned the system. It became an institution. It became about, these are the nerves, this is the organs. Yes, they're connected, but they're separate. And so we learned about this system, and it became very, I suppose, restricted. We started learning about the back. If the back hurts, then that's the problem. If the neck hurts, that's the problem. If there's a headache, that's the problem. In fact, we weren't looking at the cause. So over the last few years, I've realized that although we have to look at other things in balance, mental, chemical, physical stresses in our lives, getting adjusted is a core part of improving your health. And you can have other things going on with you. I mean, my journey is one, I'm a diabetic. You know, medicine saved my life, no question about that. I take medicine, but I just didn't want to be cruising and being average along, you know. I didn't want to just survive. I wanted to optimize. And chiropractic has helped me to do that and to live a better life. It's allowed me to start running when I wasn't ever I wasn't very good at exercise when I was a child. It's allowed my mind to think in different ways and to optimize that. And of course, there's work that we need to do as well. It's not just sitting there and being passive and getting adjusted and that's it. It's eating well, it's thinking positive thoughts, it's meditating, it's drinking water, it's doing all those positive things. If spiritual, you know, other people do this mental sort of health with spiritual means. They go to church, they pray, others do meditation, others watch cat videos. Whatever works for the individual is what they should do.
Okay, so you help yourself before helping others.
Absolutely, absolutely. We've got to look within, I think, first. So for me, having diabetes, what I realized is that it created a lot of people were saying it's like this or that, and what had to happen is I had to make those decisions about my own health. Just like I tell my patients, who's going to make your decisions for you? The health insurer, the government, the medical system? It's you that's going to make those decisions. And we as chiropractors, I think, have to make our own decisions about where we're going in our profession and which direction we want to take it as well.
And how do you get to evolve so much is to get this strength, as this intensity, as how you're responsible of your life, of what you want to share, your responsibility in your community as a health practitioner?
So my mission and my vision now is to help as many people as I can through chiropractic, which we know doesn't put anything into the body or take anything out. It just optimizes people's health. And I want less people having subluxations and having, you know, people call them different things, right? You call them misalignments, subluxations, blockages to the nervous system and spine. If people have less of those, we see every day that those people work better.
Okay.
Their function is better. There's measurable things you can measure. It's not about just symptoms, although we have great results with that. It's not about pain, but we can have lots of different things. And so what we need to do is reconnect with ourselves, reconnect with what we're actually doing, and find that passion. Originally, I told you that I learned that chiropractic can help a lot of health issues, but I forgot that at university because we went away from that message.
Okay.
And I think I saw it with myself. I had my own journey with my knee, which I can talk to you about, that taught me that this is what the body can do if you're given the right circumstances. Yeah, it's really about, I mean, I've had a journey with, as I said, my own health, but my knee, I had a skiing accident. I broke my ligaments, and I went to see 2 surgeons because I want an opinion. I'm not just going to say, hey, this is just going to fix itself. I need to make the right decision. So I went and saw 2 surgeons. But what I decided is that I didn't want to spend a year recovering. It could tear again. I could have an infection. I could have this. I wanted to see what my body could do. And it was difficult because everyone around me this is not heard of. You know, the usual thing, the pattern is you go get surgery or you go get pills. And what helped me was chiropractic. And now I went skiing again within a year and a half. I feel great in my knee. I have power in it again. I started exercising and I had a great chiropractor with me. I had Marianne who helped me. I had people around me that also supported me in recognizing that, yeah, your body can do more than you think it can do, or what we're taught perhaps.
So you give him time, you get adjusted, you treat you well, and you get back strength, power and confidence in yourself. No?
Absolutely.
And how does it improve your strength within, with your own self and with your own belief in chiropractic, this experience?
So it reinforced in me that, okay, so it was a test for me. It was a blessing actually and a test, because it allowed me to say, okay, you tell your patients that the body can heal itself. I'm not fixing anything. It's true. we're helping it along. So why don't you try doing what you say to your patients every day? And in a way, the universe was telling me to do that, and it's what I did. Also, my patient said to me, remember what you told me about my knee? Yeah. When it was swollen, I had a patient who had a swollen knee, and I said, let the body heal itself. We're going to help it along. Don't get the injection, don't get this. And I had reminders, and I had people around me that could support that. And as my physical strength got better, my emotional and spiritual strength got stronger as well. And the two go hand in hand.
Okay. And how it is I know here in France, when we have discussion with friends at table who are non-chiropractors, but how it is to handle and confront with that kind of different belief system. People who can be afraid, you need to operate your knee because if not you can work, or you can move, or how can you wait on the pain in the knee? How do you...
So it's a really good question. So the first thing is that it comes from a lot of fear. A fear of, if you don't do this, this is going to happen. Well, I changed that, and it became one of what is possible. It's not from a place of fear. That's the one thing. The other one was that pain is a warning sign. Okay. It's not good or bad. I say to my patients that the fire alarm is going off.
Yeah.
What does the fire alarm make you do? It makes you leave. It takes action. Pain is a way of saying pay attention inside now. That's what we say, P-A-I-N, pay attention inside now.
Okay.
So it's not good or bad. It is a warning sign, and pain can come and go. It's not a sign necessarily of that everything is great or everything is not great. Okay. It's not the only thing we look at. We look at function, we look at all these other things. So we need to be able to measure objectively what it's doing. And every time I was getting adjusted, I was able to put more pressure on my knee. Every week the swelling was going down.
So I was going to ask you, how do you measure your improvement? Because first you make a rational move with the control. You are not so fucked up, so you can handle it naturally. So you can avoid surgery, yes or no, you can wait for it. But after you have to earn your own measurement to enhance your awareness. So it was about swollen, strains, weight.
I could, when I was getting adjusted, I would put more pressure on my foot. I didn't have to use as many the crutches. So that's a sign of improvement for me.
Good.
And it's and I also used other things. I used icing, but I went back to, I was getting adjusted once a week. I went back to getting adjusted twice a week when this happened. I was off work. It was hard. It was very challenging mentally, physically, but we've got to remember that it's the healing process takes time, not necessarily when we think it's going to be, but when our body's ready for it. Your body will always, we've got to trust our bodies again. We've got to listen to them. A lot of us don't. I didn't for lots of things in the past, but I am now.
But what was the gift of non-being working or not being adjusting during those times? That because I'm curious. I never stopped working. Those who know me, I cannot stop working. I'm always adjusting someone, or I'm always around the office.
It was a blessing because mentally it was very challenging. My wife was a big support in my recovery, but there were lots of ideas that I was having in my head, and I was having some blockage to do them in the clinic, seeing patients, and there are certain things I wanted to implement about a more vitalistic practice, and this allowed me the time to think about it, to be sure of it, and to actually, when I came back, I was doing it.
You were already what you want to bring.
It was a way of...
It was not an outside idea, you were already what you are going to implement. No?
That's right, yeah. I was just sitting on this idea and worrying, if I do this, maybe they're not going to like me. If I do that, maybe it's going to mean this. Maybe my patients are going to go. But what happened is I became more certain of the healing effect. It was a way of the universe telling me, take a break. I've been working since I was 15, take a break, think about what you're doing, step back. And sometimes you need to step back to step forwards.
And how's your clinic evolve with yourself? Like, where do you start from, and now where it is? How do you communicate chiropractic to your patient or your community?
So, in the UK, chiropractic is a way of sort of looking at back pain, musculoskeletal issues. Yes, we have great results with that, but it's not the only thing we do. And so when I first started chiropractic here, we were talking about, just talking about pain. And now what we do is we talk about connecting the person physically, mind, body, spirit.
Okay.
And when you have a improved function between the brain, the nervous system, and the body, everything improves. I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, you can get all sorts of things changing, and I'm not going to talk about specific syndromes or symptoms that can improve, but it makes sense. If you've got blockages down this central part, this important system down your body, and you remove those blockages, it makes sense that it's going to work better, doesn't it?
Yeah, life expression is better in every function.
Yep.
Not only physically, but maybe physiologically, maybe emotionally
Absolutely.
and mentally.
Absolutely.
And so your way is set to behave with also change. So you can be a better husband to your wife, or maybe a good dad in few months because of proper function. No.
The other experience was this, my personal journey. You asked about that, and I originally, when I started chiropractic care, I was 18. I had low back pain since I was a kid. I had right knee pain without damage, and I had posture problems.
Yeah.
So that's why I went originally. It took years for that to change because I'd had it for 17 years.
Okay.
So it took me a number of years for that to resolve. And also I did chiropractic as symptom care, what my patients have done.
Yeah.
And then one day I said, why don't I listen to my chiropractors? Something changed here. Why don't I change my diet? And I changed my mindset, and I started listening to them. And instead of waiting for my pain to come back before I see them, why don't I go whatever their recommendation was, say every 2 weeks or every week, just like they said, because they're here to help me. And I had great chiropractors in Australia. One of them I still have. And that taught me that actually it's going to take years for healing to happen, because I'd had it for 17 years. You can't be impatient with this. Healing is not like Amazon Prime.
I love this one. Elodie used it too. Healing
Yeah.
is not Amazon Prime. You can have it delivered in 2 days.
It doesn't happen like that. Yeah. So what I go for now is very different to what I went for years ago. I've been getting chiropractic care for 20 years, and it's now because it helps my work. I can stand all day. It helps my energy. It helps my digestion. I can sleep in any situation, trains or buses or whatever, and I used to have problems sleeping. It helped my exercising. I started exercising when I'd never exercised really before because I couldn't, because of different issues that I'd had. So why I go now is very different to why I go, when I went previously. And of course, you've got to do the other stuff. Get adjusted, that's the first thing. Anytime I'm feeling under the weather, I'm not feeling so great, I get adjusted first. Of course, It's a no-brainer. Yeah. But you've also got to look after your diet, you've got to drink water, you've got to meditate, you've got to think, positive thoughts, you've got to be hopeful instead of living in fear. That's the other thing. So it's looking at things differently, even though the world itself is the same as all the things going on outside in the world is the same. It's our perception that changes. My perception changed.
I love this question about, I think it's from Socrates, I say it from Socrates, what are you ready to change instead to go for healing? What are you ready to let go?
Yes.
And to earn your healing? Because when you get some symptoms or new conditions, because you are not respecting some part of yourself, like you say, food, eating, thinking, moving, sleeping, recovering. But it's why are you ready for it? It's like it's getting adjusted, you got resources, and you can find what you need to change after this with
Absolutely.
a clear mind.
Yeah. I think you've also got to create the space for healing. And when you're in pain, or it could be pain, mental pain, that manifests physically. It could be physical pain. But when you're, I use examples. If you've got pain is like an app being open. So if you have too many apps open on your iPhone, what's going to happen to the battery?
Yeah, she's going into the rut.
It's still going to work,
yeah.
But is it going to be working at its optimal?
No.
So why don't we shut some of those apps down? And I'm not just talking about pain, I'm talking about blockages, life force, I'm talking about energy. There's all sorts of things. You can explain it in different ways. But if you close the apps down, what's going to happen to the battery?
It's going to get better.
Well, why don't we do that with our bodies?
Because we just have to learn the lesson or listen to our chiropractor, to
Exactly.
Dr. Ari.
Exactly. And Dr. Sebastian.
What was so why you connect with patient? You explain this way, the app thing, or
Yes, I explain that. Yep.
Yeah.
I explain it in my health talks. We have our patients attend our health talks, and we believe that they're an important part. We never used to do them, but we believe it's an important part of not just we're talking our chiropractic message, sharing the big idea. This is our message. If you just want to get out of symptoms, there are lots of chiropractors around London you can visit. We're absolutely fine with that. We used to think we have to help everyone who comes into our practice in the same way.
Okay.
And if they're coming in for pain, we have to fix their pain. Well, the reality is that, yes, we do have good results with that, but it's not the only thing we do.
Okay.
It's about connecting that higher to that high level, a higher form of function and existence, and patients get great results. They talk about it, you know. Look, if it didn't work, we wouldn't be where we were. So that's the measure, whether it's working or not, whether you can believe it or not. It's like they say with gravity. You can believe it or not, it exists, you know. So the sooner you believe in it and understand it, the sooner you can embrace it and use it for all its benefits.
So now you're more into attracting the patient who unlocks you, who want your real services. You tell your truth.
Yep.
It's why the health talk helps you to introduce yourself and give that kind of chiropractic we do in my office.
Exactly.
If you want it, you can take it. So you have only happy patients, no?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, it's interesting because the culture is not one of just health prevention.
Yeah.
People are after a fix, and sometimes it's easier to put your fix solution to someone else, like your chiropractor, and that's what people do for us. For around the world, it's not just in the UK. But what happens is that I'm not taking credit for their bodies getting better, but I'm also not taking the blame for their bodies not getting better. What are they doing outside of the clinic which causes these problems to come up firstly? And those people that change those things, they change their diet, they have less coffees, they have more water, less alcohol, less sweets, they start doing meditation, they get better results. You know, they can just try it. There's nothing if you try it. These are not crazy ideas. These are things that you can try every day at home.
So you really do what you really, as a doctor, as a teacher, no? You give back, like you get them information about lifestyle, so they need to play with you, and they know they got better results if they active with their health.
Yeah, exactly. It's up to them to take responsibility for their health. We can't care more about our patients' health about their patients' health than them. And it's like, you know, you can agree or disagree with this example, but if you go to the gym, how long is it going to take for you to notice changes in the gym? Let's say to put on some muscle. Days, weeks, months, years, what?
At least 1 year, no?
Yeah, it's going to take some time, right? Minimum is a few months to start notice some changes. And how often do you need to go to the gym to notice the changes in a week?
2 to 4 times a week.
Yeah, the more you go, if you go once, you're going to get some changes,
Yeah.
but you're not going to get as many changes. Now, it depends what shape you're in before the gym.
Yeah.
If you're not in good nervous system health, you know, in a good health state, it's going to take you longer. What's been going on in our lives, that also matters, you know, what sort of emotional stress, chemical stress, physical stresses there are. We're not designed to sit at desks all day, and yet a lot of our patients do that. So are they getting up every hour? Are they moving around? Are they having the water? It really, the thing that we say is that it's about holistic. This is about holistic.
From your point of view, yeah.
We're looking at everything. We're not just looking at someone's spine.
Okay. So it's a bigger vision. What last question, because we have some young docs on blocks. What will you tell or explain or try to plant as a seed, as though young Dr. Ari, to reach this kind of strength inside you got now, to express your real vision of chiropractic and get to the real chiropractic center you love, instead of making like a chiropractor have to be this way, so you have to show this to public so they can love me and like me and can try to serve you to. Now you can see the difference when I'm Dr. Ari, who
Yes.
I really are. they enjoy it better. I do the service I want. I got more energy. What would you advise to them?
The main thing is to have empathy firstly, which I think probably all the chiropractors in the profession do. To have empathy and not just think, this is my vision, I'm just going to do it, that's the way I want. We have to have empathy first. Come from a point of empathy and love. That's the first thing. Love your patients. The other thing is to attend seminars that are vitalistic, like yourself, like other ones that are around, to attend those, to connect with people, so you know that this is not just you going through these struggles. We all have these struggles. It's about connecting with a tribe that can support you when you do have challenges, and also to see that it's okay to be this way. You don't have to be the traditional, the way the health system, it's actually, if you look at it, it's a sickness system. It's not a health system. I want to be about promoting a health system instead of a sickness system. So my advice would be, do you want to be part of the sickness system or the health system? And attend seminars, read.
I love this idea, and we okay. And what we forget to say is we support each other when we have trouble issue. We can always text each other, or we have different friends to communicate, but we are able to share our successes without no judgment, no jealousy. So when someone of us is succeeding in something, it's just about more, how does it work? How can we implement it? What was the process inside it? What makes you the change? How do you feel?
Yeah.
And I think getting in connection to these tribes at different seminars, what we are speaking is in France is Cardiac Conscience, but we're speaking of Conf Europe, maybe in United States, let's share names, we don't care, it's not a promotional thing, but it's where we meet each other. We meet each other at Conf Europe. So I think it's this kind of tribe is important because it's supportive, and you can see the evolution on everyone. Like we are connecting each other more than 5 years, so we can see the change in the eyes of everyone. The board, I'm going there for more than 10 years now, and I can see people evolution, and we know it's a process, we need time, but when you see someone is 10 years is working and getting to his point where he's really free, and you got his eyes, I call it the Viking eyes, like, the eyes of freedom, like, I don't care, everybody was snapping like before. For me, when I was young, it was the hippie things. It's all about love and light. No, now they're really free. But it's always good to see the evolution on everyone as a tribe and work together and exchange.
And we, when someone's struggling, because we all have our struggles and we've all gone through them, the others pick them up. They say, hey, we're not leaving this person behind. That's the difference. I never had that before. In the previous, without going into mechanist or vitalist, I never had that support group before.
I think it's a global growth. It's what I mentioned. So because we learn from all the troubles from everyone. So every subluxation you got or every stress you got in your office, I can learn from them. I will experiment it a different way.
Yeah.
So how we have to change ourselves to be better chiropractor, how we to communicate chiropractic to our own community, how we attract the patient who are good for getting service by us. Because we need to attract the patient who can use our best service, no? I know chiropractors next door can serve different patients better than me. So,
and it's okay that the patient does come in for symptoms. It's also up to us to educate them. What else can it do? It's okay. We still get patients with symptoms coming in, but we also get people who bring their babies in. They get great labors and all. I mean, so many benefits. It's up to you to speak to people who are forming a bigger picture of what chiropractic can do, the benefits that it can have more than just symptoms, and to visit those people and to see for yourself, see how it works. If it's okay, ask the patients, listen to their stories, and if it doesn't work, okay, the patients wouldn't be back. So you go visit those practices who are like that, and to see for yourself instead of making judgments about, this person might be like this, or they're after this or that. It's really about seeing for yourself.
Good. So seeing by yourself, making your own. Don't listen to those voices, those guys on videos taking your stories. Get to share, get to see his office, get to see our office. Make your point of view. Go to see a lot of chiropractors who work on make your own chiropractic vision, because I think there are a lot of people could speak, but what's really important is how you serve your patient, how you are in real life, how do you make your lifestyle as a chiropractor. Did you really live what he's saying? And I think it was a more important thing. And
it's also finding, we're going to finish, it's finding your truth in here, being being true to yourself here, not just saying that, you know, if you're telling your patients to get adjusted regularly, are you getting adjusted regularly?
Yeah.
That's for me is where you, it's an example, because actions, as we were saying earlier, actions are what makes things happen. You know, people can talk, but it's also got to come from here. You've got to be congruent with your message, your health, and that of the patients.
I think that was the best way to finish. Thank you very, very much, Harry. He's in London. If you stop there, we'll always agree to have a coffee, a tea, and some nice meal. If you meet him in a seminar, learn from him, because every time we see each other, we have nice discussion, long discussion, because he also always about this, find your truth and try to be true and respectful to your own truth. Thank you very much, Harry.
Thank you.
Bye bye. À bientôt pour une prochaine petite interview cadeau comme ça dans mon petit canapé. Ciao, ciao.